What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what really moved it and what shorts did. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid went down 1.95%, 238 the low, 252 the high. So Lucid did do fairly well in recovering throughout the day. What really prompted this pullback though in the broader market was because of the data points. So ADP employment, GDP, and also PCE in their own ways all did come in negative. In fact, even GDP was negative. So all of this did spook the broader market, had a lot of people starting to talk about recessions and whatever, so it definitely escalated fairly fast. What was rather comical though is throughout the day you did have Trump coming out saying that all of this is Biden's data and he's to blame. So it's kind of funny to see him use other people as scapegoats, but he technically is incorrect only because GDP, that was within Q1, and as far as I'm aware, the inauguration was on January the 20th. So 20 days was under Biden, the rest was under Trump. Of course, there's some rollover a little bit, but it's not fair to blame Biden or Powell on all this data. So it is kind of comical to see that. But today there wasn't any news, no SEC filings, no real even articles coming out. So now people are honestly just waiting for Lucid's upcoming earnings, as you can kind of see based on all that. One thing I do want to bring up though, there was a video, so it looks like under Lucid's website, the American version, they do have this. So under the HUD, they did add that option back, but they added a little bit more of a highlight there saying fall availability. So potentially things might be still delayed supply chain wise, maybe up until fall. That's when they're really going to ramp up. Again, that's if you kind of take this for face value. So let me know your viewpoint on that. During this pullback right here, shorts were in their like euphoria. They absolutely loved it because they did increase 8.84 million shares. 29.94% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 363 million shares. So for whatever reason, shorts are just hell-bent on bringing Lucid down, and you can kind of see it right here. So this massive spike up, that is shorts increasing, which of course, in case you don't know, by shorts increasing, they're adding selling pressure, so they helped escalate this kind of downtrend right here. Aside from that though, you're seeing a lot of abnormal buys, so I'll go over that in a second, but looking at the options, 2.34 million in calls, 970 in puts. 62% of all the options being done today though were neutral in nature. And the reason why it's neutral is ultimately you can't really tell. It wasn't oriented towards the bid or the ask. It was somewhat smack dab in the middle. So it's impossible to tell whether those were buys or sells. So that's kind of that. But today you did see a little bit higher in volume. So 3.3 million in total premiums, 1.1 yesterday, and then 2 the day prior. So good to see a little bit more additional attention being placed on Lucid. So that's kind of a good thing. Based on the bulls, you are seeing a consensus for it to be above 250 and still the week of their earnings. So next week for it to be roughly around $3. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub roughly 250. So still, given where Lucid is at, there is a lot more upside anticipated, which was rather odd because with recession fears instantly happening first thing, you didn't really see shorts just say F it and double down on the bearish options. They didn't really do all that much. So reading between the lines, it kind of does signal that Lucid is or very close to the bottom in their mind at least. But one thing I want to bring up is this right here. So a lot of random transactions, and as far as I'm aware, I brought up a lot of the speculative partnerships and stuff that's been kind of reading between the lines that has been coming out, but nothing official. But if you kind of look at this, it shows maybe someone knows something for whatever reason. But 2.26 million, 1.3, 2.01, 2.26, 1.25, 2.26. So that 2.26 most likely is a repetitive order, a duplicate, but not a duplicate, sorry, but like a repetitive, maybe algorithmic trading or some large entity, since it seems to be 3 of those. But 1.63 and then 1.25. There was a big one as well, 21.5. So big money definitely is paying attention to Lucid. Like I said, as far as I'm aware, there hasn't been any news or anything from them today exactly. Same with no articles or no new analyst ratings on a side note. So last one did come out a couple of days back, I think 9 days ago. Time flies, but $3 price target. So yeah, ultimately a lot of these transactions are very random. Even on the dark pool, there's a lot of big transactions. So 1.7, 1.03, 2.8, 4.4. That was around 11 o'clock, and then 1.6. Yeah, a lot of big transactions happening. So big money was definitely buying the Lucid dip. Same goes for Rivian. Rivian actually had some abnormal transactions today as well. And as far as I'm aware, there wasn't any updates due to the auto tariffs, because that could be one reason why both Lucid and Rivian did move up somewhat in the same kind of fashion. So let me know your viewpoint on that. With it at 251, still trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 233 is going to be a strong support. 255 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Both weren't really touched today, so just kind of watch for that going forward into the next couple trading days. Tomorrow we do have manufacturing data, and that one is going to be another big one that people potentially could freak out over. And this is April's data, so there's no way that Trump could ever spin this to be Biden's problem. But aside from that, on the actual chart, still above the 50-day moving average. Is actually just wedged bound between the 50 and 100-day moving average. So $2.63 is going to be the next kind of strong point. So far this round and this cycle, it has not been touched, so that's going to be another element to really watch for. And then just that $2.40, that's that 50-day moving average. So all in all, Lucid's holding up fairly well, still above the ALMA as well. So I think Lucid, if we do get good manufacturing data, that could be that green light the market needs to really push higher. And as well, today you did have after hours a lot of companies unveiling their earnings. So you had Microsoft and also Meta both hitting a home run. So essentially that might fuel a lot of optimism going into tomorrow. So let me know your viewpoint on Lucid. Did you buy the dip? Did you panic sell recently? What's your general thoughts on all that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon and get buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point and bangers. So definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that though, appreciate all of you watching.